All right. Now, what I would like to do here is take a moment. And this moment, obviously, is not a moment about me. And frankly, and I say this with love and respect to you all, it's not about you right now. It's about the men and women that put their butts on the line every single day. Every once in a while, I'm very fortunate to be able to end the show with I'm honored to be of service to you. But there's a group of people out there that is less than 2% of the United States of America. It is our U.S. Armed Forces, our military. They put their lives on the line every single day. And just for the record, I'm just going to name some hot spots off the top of the list in case you're not paying attention. Afghanistan, which hardly ever gets mentioned. Really, Afghanistan. All right? There's few guys left in Iraq. There's guys in Yemen. Now we have people in Jordan. They need our support. They need us to pray for them. All right? There's just so much at stake for them every single day. Please, let's just take a moment to send our love to them, to appreciate them with a moment of silence and prayer. To our members in the United States military, we love you. God bless you. Get home safe, please. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. We can never do it enough. We've got to make sure we do that every single day. If you could just take a moment, when you do a prayer over your food, if you do just any moment you can take and send a prayer their way, it would be tremendously appreciated. Not just by me, not just by you, but by them and their families. Because believe it or not, they're going through this too, every single day. So please keep them in your prayers. Is that a deal? Okay, those are our professional warriors. If we're going to citizen warrior up, we need to acknowledge the professional warriors. Is that cool? Yes? All right. I want to introduce you right now to a really great professional warrior. All right, he served our military. I just want to throw this. His name is Jeff Kerr. And I honestly don't have enough accolades to describe the unit that he is attached to. But I'm just going to go through this. He's a combat-proven Army Special Operations helicopter pilot and Patriot with more than 23 years of active duty service. He spent his entire career serving the nation on countless global battlefields. He has the same personal convictions and love of country that led Jeff into the military service still lead him to serve his family, his faith, and his country, and you, the citizens of the United States of America. All right, he is part of the, and by the way, kids, if you ever want to learn to fly a helicopter or be a great pilot, if you could get into this unit, they call themselves the Night Stalkers, baddest special operations pilots on the planet Earth, period. Bin Laden got. Yeah, the SEAL team gets a lot of credit for that, but if you don't get there, if you don't get to the target, and more importantly, if you don't get back home, get out of there, you don't get back home to see your families. So I just want to give a big round of applause to Jeff Kerr. He's going to come up here and talk to you. Hello, Texas.
Today I've come all the way from the great state of Kentucky just to be with you here today. And what a great day it is. The fact that we are all able to be here and to talk about what we don't like about our government without fear of stormtroopers raiding this stadium and rounding us all up.
Hold on one second, brother. I'm going to make this a little more friendly.
All right, thanks.
Go for it, buddy.
The fact that we are all able to gather here today and talk about what we don't like about our government without fear of stormtroopers raiding this stadium and rounding us all up makes it an even better day, doesn't it? Especially since this president knows that Kentucky and Texas all cling to their guns and religion. I've spent a lot of time in Texas over the years. I love the patriotism here. That's something that you've got in common with my home state of Kentucky. Believe it or not, there's more to our Commonwealth than Kentucky Fried Chicken, bourbon, and the Kentucky Derby. We're also the home of the current NCAA basketball champion Kentucky Wildcats. I'm not going to discuss our UK football team today because when it comes to scoring victories, they're not doing much better than this administration this year. Kentucky has a long history of patriotism. We had the most volunteers to fight the British in the War of 1812. We are the birthplace of Abraham Lincoln, and we were the stomping ground for Daniel Boone. We're also the first state to declare not for Obama in 2008. And we will be the first state to declare not for Obama in 2012. Now, folks, I'm not a politician or a celebrity, just a simple Kentucky boy, father of 2 beautiful daughters, husband of 29 years to my high school sweetheart. Thank you. I'm a retired veteran. I'm not active duty. And I'm a patriot who loves this country with all my heart and all my soul. During his acceptance speech in 2008, President Obama said, "Change has come to America." Well, he has changed America all right, and I don't like it. We are a punch-drunk nation, ladies and gentlemen. The liberals have taken over Washington, and since then it's been one blow after another against morality, fairness, liberty, and constitutional rights. We've hardly had the time to catch our breath with the likes of Obamacare, czars, a skyrocketing national debt, unprecedented welfare entitlements, and guiding it all, a president bent on bringing this country to its knees. The liberals believe that they have us on the ropes, and you can bet that if Obama is reelected, there will be a serious setback for those of us who cherish freedom and value liberty. If you are scared now, if you are in fear of losing your rights now, if you worry about the defense of this country now, then just wait till you see what he has in store for us in the next term. We've got to stop this madness now. I'm proud to have served my country for over 23 years, first in the Air Force, then in the Army. During my time, is that for the Air Force? During my time, I guarded this country's nuclear weapons in the cold of North Dakota and the first stealth fighters in the desert of Nevada. I fought Somali warlords on the Horn of Africa, Taliban and Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, and the Republican Guard in Iraq. I've spent countless days and months away from my family, and I've lost too many dear friends to the cause. I didn't do any of this for medals or promotion. I did this for my family. And I did it for my country. And I did it because it was my duty. But I didn't do it so that I could watch the Commander-in-Chief bow and cower to third world leaders like we've seen during the Obama apology tour. And I did not do it so that I could watch my leadership give in to the whims of an organization like the United Nations. Folks, I served in Somalia in 1993 with the 101st Airborne Division during Operation Restore Hope. I saw daily how inept the UN was at trying to do some of the simplest of tasks. I saw how they allowed illegal activities to go unchecked and how they wasted millions of dollars on a daily basis. Somalia was a pathetic land of desolation then, and today, 19 years later, it is still a vast wasteland full of hopeless people being bullied by their own. That's how the UN rolls. Yet the United States continues to dump money into the UN. This year alone, the U.S. will give the UN almost $2 billion just for peacekeeping. Are we getting our money's worth? No. Friends, I know what it's like to be scared and to fear for your family, your life, and the lives of your friends. But fellow patriots, I can honestly say that I am more scared of Barack Hussein Obama than any of the bad guys that I've ever fought. I'm afraid of what he's already done to this country, and I'm terrified of what he still may be able to do. Before I retired in 2007, I never imagined myself marching down Pennsylvania Avenue to protest my government. But there I was on September 12th, 2009, marching down the street towards Capitol Hill. You were there too? I remember you. Carrying my own sign and shouting my disappointment. Before I retired, I never imagined all the letters that I would write to my congressmen and senators, begging them to do their job and step up and take care of me. And never did I imagine myself speaking to one of the finest groups of Americans, Texans, and patriots ever assembled. But here I am today. To be clear, I'm not here to speak on behalf of all veterans. This is just me, Jeff, telling it like I see it. There are obviously many, many other veterans out there who feel the same as I do, many of which are here today. I am confident that there are also many active duty members who are sick and tired of this administration. Its focus on social programs instead of military strategy, its ability to say the word terrorist, inability to say the word terrorist, and its habit of telling the enemy what is going on long before it does, such as telling the Taliban when we are leaving Afghanistan. I'm not going to debate whether or not we should be there, but what kind of leader tells the enemy what we are going to do and when? How many of you remember what Obama did in 2010 with the revision to the Nuclear Posture Review? Well, let me tell you. First, he slashed our nuclear inventory, and then, stating for the first time in our history that the United States would not use nuclear weapons against non-nuclear states. Now, I'm not a warmonger. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe in peace. Ask any veteran who's ever seen war, and they'll tell you the same thing. But I have to ask, why would a commander-in-chief take any of the cards off the table when it comes to protecting this country? I'd like you to bear with me for a moment while I read a quote. Since the dawn of the atomic age, we've sought to reduce the risk of war by maintaining a strong deterrent and by seeking genuine arms control. Deterrence means simply this: making sure any adversary who thinks about attacking the United States or our allies or our vital interest concludes that the risk to him outweigh any potential gains. Once he understands that, he won't attack. We maintain the peace through our strength. Weakness only invites aggression. These were the words of President Ronald Reagan in a speech to the nation on the night of 23 March, 1983. President Reagan was a strong believer in national defense. As most of you know, he often gets the credit for ending the Cold War. His passion and dedication to this nation and its military was so obvious and unchallenged that it was one of the reasons why many young patriots like myself decided to join the military through the 1980s. We knew we would be serving a commander-in-chief that had the interest of the United States first and foremost on his agenda. We knew that we would not be forgotten about, and we knew that our lives would not be used as political pawns in the dangerous game of personal politics. Remember how President Reagan stood up to Mikhail Gorbachev in Reykjavik in October of 1986. Remember the look on his face when he came out of that meeting having just told Gorbachev that he would not get rid of SDI. He was stern, serious, and presidential. His bold leadership and unwavering dedication to the security of this country earned even our staunchest enemies respect, as displayed during President Reagan's funeral, in which Gorbachev attended. Can you imagine Barack Hussein Obama standing up to anyone? No, I can't either. But we sure know what he looks like when he bows. Folks, how many times are we going to see the president spike the football on the death of Osama? Have you ever seen the comparison between President Bush's speech on capturing Saddam Hussein and President Obama's speech on killing Osama bin Laden? One man is presidential, and one acts as though he's an emperor or a king. Mr. President, how about giving credit where credit is due? You didn't kill Osama. The finest men this country has to offer killed Osama while you sat there as a spectator thousands of miles away. As I said before, I don't speak for any organization or group. I speak only for me. But I will say that as long as the Obama administration keeps trying to weaken this country and suppress the military's vote, there are going to be more like me speaking out. And speaking of suppressing the vote, why is the Obama administration suing Ohio over military voting rights? After all, he and many members of his party like to say that even though they disagree with the other side of the aisle on many issues, they pledge their devotion and respect to our military members. Well then, Mr. President, why would you try and restrict their vote? This is America. Why is this even an issue? Remember Al Gore in 2000, how he tried to get the military absentee votes vetoed down in Florida? Why would an individual who desires to lead the country and its military do such a thing? And why should they be commander-in-chief? And then there's Guantanamo. Have you ever talked to any of the young men and women who have been down there and served in that prison down there? Those people are monsters down there. They are the worst of the worst, and yet the administration is spending millions of dollars to upgrade that place, to make them more comfortable, while at the same time releasing some of these guys back into the wild. How many more of them will end up on the battlefield fighting our men and women again? Can someone please explain to me why this is happening? And then there's the blatant refusal to call terrorism what it is. As all of you are no doubt familiar with, this administration has still refused to call the attack at Fort Hood a terrorist attack. The evidence is there. The man was a jihadist who hated America and wanted to do us harm. He murdered and maimed American soldiers while screaming the praises of Allah. And yet, there is no fortitude in the White House to call it what it is. This is political correctness gone amok. Also, as you know, we talked about a little bit today, we just recently experienced the death of one of our ambassadors in Libya. An ambassador is the representation of the United States of America. I believe under any other president, an attack on one of our ambassadors would be viewed as a direct attack on the United States of America. But not this administration. They can't even get their story straight. How is it that America can have one of its ambassadors murdered by a terrorist and not even have the fortitude to call it what it is? And what are the major news networks? They didn't even have the courage to ask the hard questions. And how about that last debate when the President of the United States of America deliberately and with obvious forethought lied when he said that he had called the murder of the Libyan ambassador a terrorist act within 12 hours of its occurrence. He knew he hadn't. And of course, he had help by the CNN moderator. Lie, deny, and counter-accuse. That is the motto of this administration. This is the liberal way, but this is not the American way. Folks, at a time when we are risking a nuclear Iran, an unstable Mediterranean, and at a time when Russia and China are increasing their defense budgets, and North Korea remains an unstable wasteland run by a lunatic with nuclear weapons, how can we even think about cutting the defense by $600 billion under sequestration? I'm not going to argue that there is waste within the DoD. Of course there is. But let's trim it back and not give it a buzz cut. And where is the outrage in Washington from our leadership? Where's the representation? Why aren't they on C-SPAN 24/7? Why are they not fixing this? We need strong, responsible men and women in D.C. to fight this liberal treason, to fight the likes of Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. We need patriots in Washington, not pansies. People like Alan West, Rand Paul, and Ted Cruz, and Michelle Bachmann, who are not afraid to tell it like it is. Is this what we are becoming? Like Europe? Is this a direction that America wants to go? After 240 years and countless men and women, patriots all, having fought and died for our freedom all over the world, is this where we want to go? And now this current administration seeks to reverse all that. Are we going to stand by and allow this to happen? If we do our duty, ladies and gentlemen, and we get out there and convince the rest of America of what we know, we can stop this disaster. We can get Obama voted out. We only have a little over 2 weeks left before the election. But think about this. Think about this for a second. How nice would it be when you wake up on the morning of November 7th to hear that President Barack Hussein Obama has been denied a second term? If that happens, ladies and gentlemen, America will feel shame no more. When you wake up on November 7th and President Barack Hussein Obama has been denied a second term, America will be pushed around no more. And when you wake up on the morning of November 7th and President Barack Hussein Obama has been denied a second term, America will bow no more. And finally, let me leave you with this quote. We sleep safe in our beds because rough men stand ready at night to visit violence on those who would do us harm. Please support these men and women. Protect them while they protect you. Vote for a commander-in-chief worthy of their duty and their sacrifice. Spread the word. Call your friends and family, especially the ones in the swing states, and encourage them to show up on November 6th and vote. It'll be easy. They probably won't even have to show an ID card. Thank you for your attention. God bless Texas and God bless America.
Another round for Jeff Kerr, please. All right. Listen, I just want to say something about the special operations community. One of the things they drill into our heads numerous times, quiet professional. Okay, so what you're seeing now with Jeff coming out here, with a buddy of mine, Ryan Zinke, coming on the show, Special Operations for America, so4america.org. The silent professionals can't stay silent anymore. There's so much at stake. So I just want to give, thank you, Jeff, for doing this, okay? Thank you for taking the time, buddy. Appreciate it tremendously.